Introduction. In the picturesque town of Meadowbrook, nestled among the rolling hills and tranquil countryside, the story of Emily began, a story that would unfold through 8 chapters of unwavering dedication, environmental stewardship, and a commitment to making a difference. Emily, a recent college graduate armed with a degree in environmental science, stood at the precipice of her adult life, facing a world of opportunities and challenges. Meadowbrook, though charming and idyllic, had been silently grappling with a profound environmental crisis. Its once pristine river, a lifeline for the town and a source of natural beauty, had fallen victim to years of neglect and indifference. The riverbanks were marred by industrial waste, and the waters had turned murky and lifeless. Trash lined its shores, a testament to the community's disregard for its precious resource. Emily, like many young individuals fresh out of college, was eager to make a meaningful impact. She couldn't ignore the dire state of her beloved town any longer. Her heart ached for the once vibrant river that now languished under the weight of pollution. And so, in the heart of this charming town, Emily embarked on a journey that would change her life, and the lives of those around her, forever. The first chapter of her journey began with a sense of hope, as she resolved to tackle the environmental challenge head-on. Armed with her passion for the environment and a deep-rooted love for Meadowbrook, Emily decided to take matters into her own hands. She was determined to restore the river to its former glory, breathe life back into its waters, and awaken her community's environmental conscience. However, as Emily ventured further into her mission, she encountered a formidable adversary, resistance. Not everyone in Meadowbrook shared her vision. There were skeptics who believed that economic growth should take precedence over environmental concerns. Local businesses, fearing potential disruptions, pushed back against her efforts. Politicians, too, were reluctant to embrace change. Yet, Emily was undeterred. She knew that to create lasting change, she needed to build bridges, not walls. In the third chapter of her journey, she embarked on a path of diplomacy and compromise. She sought out local business owners, engaging them in conversations about the benefits of sustainable practices. Slowly but surely, she began to win over some of the town's business leaders, who saw the long-term advantages of eco-friendly policies. The fourth chapter saw the early fruits of her labor. The river, once a symbol of despair, began to show signs of life. The water quality improved, and the return of wildlife to the area offered a glimmer of hope. As the community started witnessing the positive impact of their collective actions, more people rallied behind Emily's cause. But Emily's journey extended beyond Meadowbrook's borders. In the fifth chapter, she broadened her perspective, attending international environmental conferences and immersing herself in the global dialogue about environmental challenges. She discovered that her small town was not alone in its struggles, and that solutions could be found through collaboration with like-minded individuals from around the world. Emily's vision expanded further in the sixth chapter, where she returned to Meadowbrook with a newfound sense of purpose. She launched an environmental education program in local schools, sowing the seeds of awareness and inspiring the younger generation to become stewards of the earth. The ripples of her influence began to extend beyond her immediate circle, spreading throughout the community. Now, as we embark on the final chapter of Emily's remarkable journey, her legacy endures. Years have passed since she first stood by the polluted riverbank, and Meadowbrook is transformed. The once toxic waters now teem with life, and sustainable practices have become a way of life for the town's residents. Emily's work, however, is far from complete, for she knows that the path to a better environment is an unending one. Yet, she remains steadfast, confident that her town is on the right path, and that the legacy of her tireless work will continue to shape the future of Meadowbrook for generations to come.
Chapter 1: A New Beginning. In the heart of Meadowbrook, where the quaint streets wound their way around cozy cottages and the aroma of freshly bloomed flowers filled the air, a sense of new beginnings was palpable. Emily, a young woman in her early 20s, had just donned the cap and gown, signifying her triumphant graduation from the local university. Armed with a degree in environmental science and an unquenchable passion for the natural world, Emily stood at the cusp of adulthood, poised for her own new beginning. Meadowbrook, the very town that had nurtured her dreams and witnessed her growth, had a secret buried beneath its charming facade. Nestled amid these rolling hills was a river, once the lifeblood of the community, now struggling for survival. The riverbanks, once bustling with children skipping stones and couples taking leisurely strolls, had become littered with industrial waste and discarded trash. The waters, which had once reflected the vibrant colors of the changing seasons, now glistened with a dull, lifeless sheen. It was this hidden environmental crisis that tugged at Emily's heartstrings. She had spent her childhood days by the river's edge, learning to appreciate the beauty of the natural world, the delicate balance of ecosystems, and the significance of clean water. The state of the river was an affront to her deeply held beliefs, a painful reminder of humanity's disregard for the environment. As she stood on the riverbank, gazing out at the once majestic waterway, Emily knew she could no longer turn a blind eye. Her heart ached for the river's lost vitality and the community's apathy towards its plight. It was time to take action, to turn the tide of neglect, and to breathe life back into the river that had been so integral to the town's identity. With the enthusiasm of youth and the determination of a young woman on a mission, Emily decided to spearhead a grassroots movement. In her small bedroom, she began sketching out plans, envisioning a future where the river thrived once more. She named her initiative River Renewal and set out to rally like-minded individuals who shared her passion for environmental conservation. In the beginning, Emily's vision faced skepticism and doubt. Some dismissed her as an idealistic dreamer, while others wondered if one person could truly make a difference. Yet, Emily remained undeterred, knowing that the first step in any journey was often the hardest. She began reaching out to friends, acquaintances, and anyone who would listen, inviting them to join her in the effort to restore the river to its former glory. Emily's story was one of hope and determination, a testament to the power of one individual's unwavering commitment to a cause. In Meadowbrook, the first chapter of her journey marked the dawn of a new era, a time when one young woman's passion would ignite a spark of change, setting the stage for the transformative chapters that lay ahead.
Chapter 2: The Environmental Challenge. As Emily and her small band of dedicated individuals gathered by the riverbank, they faced an uphill battle. The environmental challenge before them was formidable, and the obstacles were as vast as the river itself. The river, once a source of pride for Meadowbrook, had become a symbol of neglect and environmental degradation. Its waters, which had once been crystal clear, were now murky and polluted with industrial runoff. Plastic bottles, discarded tires, and other refuse lined the riverbanks, casting a shadow over the natural beauty of the area. The wildlife that had once thrived along its shores had disappeared, driven away by the toxic environment. Emily's group, determined to make a difference, began organizing cleanup events along the river. Armed with gloves, trash bags, and a deep sense of purpose, they waded into the muck and debris. They spent weekends and evenings picking up trash, pulling out tires, and even conducting water quality tests to assess the extent of the pollution. However, their efforts were met with resistance. Some residents of Meadowbrook couldn't see the urgency of the situation. They questioned the need to invest time and resources in cleaning up the river when there were other pressing issues in the town. Emily and her team faced skepticism from neighbors and even some of their own friends who thought the task was insurmountable. Despite the challenges, Emily persevered. She knew that the river was not just a body of water, it was the lifeblood of Meadowbrook. Its health was intrinsically tied to the well-being of the community. Emily began to research successful environmental restoration projects in other towns and countries. She compiled data and scientific evidence to demonstrate the long-term benefits of a clean river, from improved water quality to increased property values. In Chapter 2, Emily's group also started raising awareness about the environmental challenges facing Meadowbrook. They held town hall meetings, organized workshops on sustainable practices, and reached out to local schools to involve the younger generation. Emily believed that education and community involvement were key to bringing about lasting change. Despite the initial resistance, a small shift in perception began to take hold. Some residents started to see the river as a valuable asset that could attract tourists and stimulate the local economy if restored to its natural beauty. Slowly, the tide was turning in Emily's favor, and more people began to join the cause. Chapter 2 marked a crucial turning point in Emily's journey. It was a chapter defined by perseverance, education, and the slow but steady progress toward a cleaner, healthier river. Emily knew that the road ahead was long, but she was resolute in her commitment to addressing the environmental challenge facing her beloved town.
Chapter 3: Facing Resistance. As Emily and her growing group of dedicated volunteers continued their mission to rejuvenate the ailing river in Meadowbrook, they encountered a formidable barrier that threatened to halt their progress: resistance from various segments of the community. The town's resistance was multifaceted, stemming from different concerns and perspectives. Some local businesses and industrial enterprises feared that the changes Emily and her team advocated for would disrupt their operations and negatively impact the town's economy. For them, financial stability often took precedence over environmental concerns. In the early stages of Chapter 3, Emily realized the importance of bridging the gap between the environmentalists and the business community. She recognized that both could coexist harmoniously if they found common ground and understood the long-term benefits of sustainable practices. To address this challenge, Emily embarked on a series of discussions and meetings with local business owners. She presented data and case studies demonstrating that embracing eco-friendly policies could lead to cost savings, improved public image, and even increased profitability in the long run. Her goal was not only to advocate for change, but to find practical solutions that would benefit both the environment and the local economy. As the dialogue continued, some business leaders began to recognize the potential advantages of adopting sustainable practices. Emily's persistence and her ability to present compelling arguments gradually swayed a few influential figures within the business community to her side. They saw that a cleaner river and a healthier environment could attract tourists and visitors, bolstering the town's economic prospects. However, not all resistance was limited to the business sector. In the realm of politics, Emily faced additional challenges. Local politicians, often influenced by their own constituents and financial supporters, were hesitant to embrace environmental reforms that might be seen as disruptive or costly in the short term. Emily knew that to make lasting change, she needed the support of local government officials. In Chapter 3, Emily continued her efforts to engage with politicians and make them aware of the long-term benefits of environmental conservation. She attended town council meetings, presented her research, and encouraged the adoption of policies that promoted sustainability. It was a slow and often frustrating process, but Emily remained steadfast in her belief that change was possible through diplomacy and persuasion. Chapter 3 of Emily's journey was marked by the challenges of reconciling competing interests within her community. It was a time of negotiation, persuasion, and diplomacy as she sought to break down the barriers of resistance. Emily understood that achieving her vision for a cleaner, healthier river required not just determination but also the ability to find common ground and build alliances with those who initially opposed her mission.
Chapter 4: Building Alliances. As Emily faced the resistance from various corners of her community in Meadowbrook during her quest to restore the ailing river, she recognized the pivotal need to build alliances and seek common ground. Chapter 4 of her journey was a testament to her unwavering determination to bridge the gap between environmentalists and those with opposing views. With a handful of local businesses already showing interest in her cause, Emily focused her efforts on nurturing these budding alliances. She believed that by working together, they could forge a path toward a more sustainable and prosperous future for Meadowbrook. One of the first businesses to openly support Emily's cause was a family-owned restaurant that had been a fixture in town for generations. Emily met with the restaurant's owner, Samuel, who had been skeptical at first, but had listened attentively to her arguments. Emily explained how a cleaner river could attract more visitors, potentially leading to increased patronage for his establishment. Samuel, moved by Emily's passion and the potential benefits to his business, not only pledged his support but also encouraged other local eateries to join the cause. Soon, a coalition of restaurants was formed, all committed to reducing their environmental footprint by implementing sustainable practices and minimizing waste. Emily's success with the restaurant coalition inspired her to expand her outreach to other local businesses. She reached out to a boutique hotel owner, Lucia, who was initially hesitant about the proposed changes. However, after hearing Emily's presentation on the economic benefits of a cleaner environment, Lucia began to see the potential for her business to thrive with a pristine river as a major attraction. Lucia and her colleagues in the hospitality industry soon joined the growing network of businesses dedicated to environmental responsibility. They began participating in cleanup events, recycling programs, and eco-friendly initiatives, transforming the town's tourism sector into a beacon of sustainability. While Emily was making headway in her efforts to win over local businesses, she also continued her engagement with the political sphere. The slow but steady progress she had made in advocating for environmental reforms began to yield results. A few forward-thinking politicians, who had been initially cautious, now started to lend their support to her cause. Chapter 4 was marked by a gradual shift in the town's collective mindset. More residents and businesses recognized the economic and ecological advantages of embracing sustainable practices. Emily's ability to foster these alliances, and her relentless pursuit of common ground had begun to reshape the narrative around environmental conservation in Meadowbrook. The river, once a symbol of neglect, began to show signs of improvement. Water quality tests yielded better results, and residents began to witness the return of wildlife to the area. Emily's vision of a revitalized river was becoming a reality, fueled by the unity of those who had initially opposed her mission. Chapter 4 was a testament to the transformative power of alliances, demonstrating that even in the face of resistance, change could be achieved through persistence, diplomacy, and a shared vision of a brighter, more sustainable future. Emily's journey in Meadowbrook was far from over, but the momentum she had gained in building alliances was propelling her closer to her ultimate goal of a thriving, eco-conscious community.
Chapter 5: The River's Revival. As the bonds between Emily, her allies, and the Meadowbrook community grew stronger in the quest to rejuvenate the ailing river, Chapter 5 marked a turning point in their collective efforts, the river's slow but unmistakable revival. The transformation of the river was gradual, but it was undeniably tangible. The results of Emily's unwavering dedication and her alliance-building efforts began to manifest, offering a glimmer of hope to a town that had long been haunted by environmental neglect. One of the most visible signs of change was the improvement in the river's water quality. Emily's team of volunteers, equipped with water testing kits and scientific expertise, diligently monitored the river's health. Over time, the data revealed a steady decline in pollution levels. The once murky waters began to regain their clarity, and aquatic life, long absent, started to return. Fish, which had vanished from the river due to pollution, began to reappear. Emily and her team documented sightings of various species, from rainbow trout to smallmouth bass, indicating that the river was once again becoming a suitable habitat for aquatic life. Local birdwatchers noticed an increase in the diversity of bird species frequenting the riverbanks, a sign that the ecosystem was rebounding. Emily's group continued their regular cleanup events, removing tires, plastic waste, and other debris from the river and its surroundings. With each cleanup, the riverbanks became cleaner and more inviting, and residents took notice. Families began to picnic by the river, children played by the water's edge, and couples rediscovered the joy of leisurely strolls along its banks. The restoration of the river was not limited to its physical health, it also had a profound impact on the town's psyche. residents felt a renewed sense of pride in their community, knowing that they were part of a movement to restore its natural beauty. The river, once a source of embarrassment, had become a symbol of hope and resilience. Tourists and visitors started to take notice of Meadowbrook's transformation. Word spread about the picturesque river, now a serene and thriving ecosystem. Tourism began to pick up, and local businesses that had embraced sustainable practices flourished as more visitors flocked to the town. The success of Chapter 5 was a testament to the power of collective action and perseverance. Emily and her team had not only restored a vital natural resource but had also revitalized the spirit of Meadowbrook. The river, once on the brink of ecological disaster, was now a shining example of environmental rejuvenation. Despite the progress, Emily knew that their work was far from over. The challenges of maintaining and further improving the river's health lay ahead, but with each passing day, the town of Meadowbrook grew more committed to preserving its newly revived treasure. Chapter 5 had proved that through determination, education, and cooperation, even the most polluted rivers could be given a second chance at life.
Chapter 6: A Global Perspective. With the river in Meadowbrook steadily reclaiming its natural beauty and the community coming together in support of environmental conservation, Emily began to envision a broader impact. Chapter 6 of her journey was a pivotal moment when she sought to gain insights from the global stage, realizing that their local efforts could be part of a larger, worldwide movement for environmental change. To expand her perspective, Emily decided to attend international environmental conferences and immerse herself in the global dialogue about environmental challenges and solutions. It was an opportunity to learn from experts, share their own experiences, and forge connections with like-minded individuals from around the world. At the conferences, Emily was exposed to a wealth of knowledge and innovative solutions. She heard about successful environmental initiatives in countries facing similar challenges, from cleaning polluted rivers to implementing sustainable agriculture practices. She also learned about the interconnectedness of environmental issues on a global scale, understanding that local actions could have far-reaching consequences. One of the key takeaways from Chapter 6 was the realization that Meadowbrook was not alone in its environmental struggles. Emily met individuals from towns and cities across the globe who faced similar issues: polluted rivers, deforestation, air pollution, and more. These shared challenges transcended borders and emphasized the importance of a unified global effort to protect the planet. Inspired by the global perspective she had gained, Emily returned to Meadowbrook with a renewed sense of purpose. She saw the potential for her hometown to not only be a model for environmental revitalization but also a source of inspiration for other communities facing similar problems. Emily understood that their journey was not just about local change, it was about contributing to a worldwide movement for a healthier, more sustainable planet. Back in Meadowbrook, Emily shared her insights and experiences from the international conferences with her fellow residents. She organized community discussions and workshops to highlight the global context of their environmental efforts and to emphasize the importance of their role in the broader environmental movement. Chapter 6 of Emily's journey was characterized by a shift in perspective, from a local focus to a global awareness.
It reinforced the idea that solutions to environmental challenges required collaboration not only within communities but also on a global scale. Emily's hometown had become a part of a much larger movement, and she was determined to leverage their success to inspire others and contribute to the global effort to protect the environment.
Chapter 7: Teaching and Inspiring. Armed with the insights and experiences gained from international environmental conferences, Emily returned to Meadowbrook with a fresh perspective and an unwavering commitment to inspire change. In Chapter 7, she embarked on a new phase of her journey, one focused on educating and empowering the community, especially its youngest members, to become stewards of the environment. Emily understood that lasting change required not only the active participation of adults but also the engagement of the next generation. She believed that by instilling a sense of environmental responsibility and awareness in the youth, the community could ensure the continuity of their environmental efforts. To achieve this, Emily initiated an environmental education program in local schools. She reached out to teachers, principals, and school boards, sharing her vision of equipping students with the knowledge and tools to understand and address environmental issues. Her passion and commitment resonated with educators, who saw the value in incorporating environmental education into the curriculum. The program took root, and soon, students of all ages were learning about the importance of protecting the environment, the value of clean water, and the significance of biodiversity. They participated in hands-on activities such as tree planting, wildlife habitat restoration, and recycling projects. Field trips to the once polluted riverbanks allowed them to witness firsthand the positive changes happening in their community. Emily's dedication to teaching and inspiring went beyond the classroom. She organized community events and workshops, inviting experts to speak on topics ranging from sustainable agriculture to renewable energy. These events brought together residents of all ages, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. One of the highlights of Chapter 7 was the creation of an environmental club for students. Emily encouraged young minds to take the lead in identifying and implementing eco-friendly initiatives in their schools and neighborhoods. The club members organized awareness campaigns, planted native trees, and initiated recycling programs. Through these activities, they not only learned valuable life skills but also became advocates for change within their families and peer groups. As the environmental education program gained momentum, Emily's efforts began to bear fruit. Children and teenagers in Meadowbrook started to view themselves as guardians of the environment, understanding that their actions could have a positive impact on the world around them. They inspired their parents and older community members to embrace more sustainable practices and be more conscientious about their environmental footprint. Chapter 7 of Emily's journey was a testament to her belief in the power of education to effect change. It was marked by the transformation of young minds into environmentally conscious citizens who would carry the torch of environmental stewardship into the future. Emily knew that the legacy of her work would live on through the generations she had inspired, ensuring that Meadowbrook continued to thrive as a beacon of environmental responsibility and awareness.
Chapter 8: The Legacy Continues. As Emily's tireless efforts and unwavering dedication to environmental conservation in Meadowbrook reached their culmination, Chapter 8 marked a new era in her journey, one where the seeds of change she had sown would continue to flourish and shape the community for generations to come. The river that had once languished under a shroud of pollution was now a shining example of environmental rejuvenation. Its clear waters teemed with life, and the riverbanks had been transformed into thriving ecosystems. Residents of Meadowbrook had embraced sustainable practices, from local businesses adopting eco-friendly policies to families making conscious choices about waste reduction and energy conservation. But Emily understood that sustaining the progress they had made required ongoing commitment and vigilance. She knew that the journey to a better environment was a never-ending one. In Chapter 8, she transitioned from being the driving force behind Meadowbrook's environmental revival to becoming its guiding light. One of Emily's first initiatives in this new chapter was the establishment of a community environmental council. Comprised of residents, business leaders, educators, and local officials, the council was tasked with ensuring that Meadowbrook continued on its path of environmental responsibility. It served as a forum for discussing new ideas, setting goals, and monitoring progress. Through the council, Emily encouraged ongoing river cleanup efforts and the preservation of the surrounding natural habitats. They organized regular community events, including tree plantings, cleanup drives, and educational workshops, to keep the momentum alive. Emily's work also expanded beyond Meadowbrook's borders. She continued to attend national and international environmental conferences, sharing Meadowbrook's success story and inspiring other communities to embark on similar journeys of environmental revitalization. She understood the importance of collaboration and believed that the lessons learned in Meadowbrook could serve as a blueprint for other towns facing similar challenges. Education remained a cornerstone of Emily's legacy. The environmental education program she had initiated in local schools continued to thrive. Graduates of the program had become environmental ambassadors in their own right, spreading awareness and knowledge to new generations of students. Emily's vision of nurturing young stewards of the environment had taken root and continued to flourish. The town's transformation also attracted attention from tourists and ecotourism enthusiasts. Emily worked with local businesses to ensure that tourism remained sustainable and aligned with the community's values. Visitors were encouraged to appreciate the natural beauty of Meadowbrook while respecting its fragile ecosystems. In Chapter 8, Emily found solace in the knowledge that her work had left an indelible mark on Meadowbrook. The legacy of her tireless efforts was not only the rejuvenated river, but also a community deeply committed to environmental responsibility. The river, once a symbol of despair, was now a source of pride and inspiration for the town. As Emily looked to the future, she knew that the journey to protect and preserve the environment was ongoing, but she was confident that Meadowbrook was on the right path. The torch she had carried had been passed on to a community that had embraced the responsibility of being stewards of the earth, ensuring that the legacy of her work would endure for generations to come.